Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for takeoff. China's first domestically produced airliner, the Comac C919, a project over 13 years in the making, has its international debut in Singapore this week. Touted as a competitor to Boeing 737 and the 320 from Airbus, it's one of the most anticipated aircraft to feature at the event.
It's the first time we will be having exhibitors from China, and this basically is positive, encouraging early signs of seeing Chinese companies from the aerospace industry participating in the economic activities here in Singapore.
It is also the first time China will be flying the plane for an international audience. As some airlines get ready to showcase their best and brightest, others have decided to skip presentations this year, including one of the industry's biggest passenger aircraft manufacturers, Boeing, choosing not to have any of their commercial airlines on display. This after one of its 737 MAX 9 aircrafts experienced an in-flight fuselage panel blowout earlier this year. Boeing's stock price has been on a downward trend since the 5th of January, with Boeing also reporting a decline in aircraft orders and deliveries since the incident. This is compared to record orders for Boeing commercial airplanes last year. Analysts say that as the Asia-Pacific travel recovery continues, seeing 7 of the world's busiest international routes in 2023 centered in Asia, Boeing's absence from the airshow presents an early opportunity for China's C919. Emre Boz, TRT World.
For more on this, we are joined by Fabrizio Poli. He is an aviation advisor and author of The Quantum Economy, and he is in Manchester, in the UK. Thanks for joining us. China's first domestically produced airliner. How significant is this for China? Can it help its ailing economy, do you think?
Well, good morning, Ludovica. I don't think one aeroplane is going to improve an economy. What I do think, though, is that the C919 is a very good aeroplane. It's priced lower than the Airbus A320 and also the 737. The problem with it at the moment, it's only certified in China, but they are working to get it certified in other countries as well. And I do see a good market for it in the Southeast Asia and that, in countries like Indonesia, Philippines and that. So I think, people are going to look at it because it's cheaper than the Boeing and the Airbus, and of course Boeing had a bad rap recently. So I think there is a market for it, and I think it will sell, in particular in that part of the world. Selling it into the United States market or the European market is going to be a bit more difficult, but certainly there's plenty of space there in Asia for the C919.
Interesting. We've seen what's happened to Boeing. The stock price has been on a downward trend since January 5th, with Boeing also reporting a serious decline in aircraft orders and deliveries since the incident. What does it mean for competition in the aircraft sector?
Well, it's very good for companies that like that produces a C919, because of course, you're coming in at a cheaper price than a Boeing 737, and it hasn't had the bad rap that the Boeing has had recently with the incidents and accidents that have happened. So Boeing really have to get their act together if they really want to keep competing on the international market. I'm not saying that Boeing's going to go bust. I don't think that will happen. But Boeing really need to sort of come up with a few solutions and a few changes in order to restore confidence in the market.
Airlines seem to have done really well post-pandemic in a seemingly, at this point, never-ending boom. How long can this trend continue? And fundamentally speaking, how are valuations looking in the stock markets for the airlines?
I think the airlines are in good shape, and I think air travel is going to continue. I know the pandemic slowed things down, but the internet is what's driving everything. More and more people are getting on the internet. They're contacting and communicating with people on the other side of the world, and it gets to a point where you have to move goods from one side of the planet to the other, and you have to move people too, because people like to go on holiday. You can't go on a virtual holiday, and at the end of the day, you can have so many Zoom meetings, but you need to sort of get face to face and shake people's hands. And so I think we're going to see an increase in air travel throughout the world over the next few years, and I think that's going to be healthy for everybody as we move about and meet people from other cultures and that, and realize that fundamentally we're all very, very similar. And I think that's I think travel really does improve everybody.
So you don't expect the valuations and the price to earnings ratios to adjust in the next few months then? Do you think this upward trend can continue in the stock markets?
Yes, I think the upward trend will continue unless we have some, black swan event or whatever, like the pandemic or like what happened with 9/11 and that. I think we're going to see an upward trend of the stocks in the airline industry and that because, as I said before, people are going to be traveling more and more.